Filleting whiting. Had a great session on the beach this morning. Caught some beautiful whiting. Oh, I so love eating whiting. I've got some quite big ones. This one here, that's a beast of a whiting. We just measured this one. This one's 42 centimetres, so any whiting in the 40 centimetre range are a good fish. So that's going to have a lot of flesh on them. They're not a big fish whiting, but I start salivating thinking about eating them. So we're going to actually do some filleting now. Going to fillet this, so I'll grab this one, I'll bring it up onto the cutting board, and we're going to dissect it. And I'm with my good buddy Laurie and my son Jonah. And so Jonah's going to be watching and seeing what we do when we fillet this whiting. So I've got this one. Jonah, if you want to grab a couple of the other ones. And bring them up onto the cutting board here. Now, I'm not a fishmonger, although I'm a fisherman. So I generally try generally try to waste the least amount of flesh as possible when I'm filleting. And I normally put a cut just behind the head of the fish, on the shoulder of the fish. You can see the scales here, how the scales actually go in that direction. So if you were to try and put your knife like that, it would be difficult to cut because you're cutting into the scales. So if you go on an angle, you come in under the scale. So I'm going to come right up against the head of the fish here, and I've just cut straight across there. So you can see, Loz, I've gone fairly close. I mean, I'm not really sacrificing much.
No, it's a big fish. You got room to move.
And then and it's a bit slippery, so I'm going to put a cut across the bottom as well. Now you'll notice that I haven't scaled this fish. I don't usually scale any of the fish that I catch. I just skin them, and it's much easier to skin a fillet with scales on it than without. So now I've got my cut at the top, my cut at the bottom, and I'm going to now run along, starting at the top here, using the tip of the knife. I'm going to run along the edge of the backbone, top part of the fish here. I'm just going to be a little bit careful because it's so easy to sort of go in gung-ho, and then you end up
4 fingers.
Well, you could end up with 4 fingers, or you could actually leave more meat on the fish. Now, when we do it, I mean, it's no big deal. We don't have to be perfect. I'm just running my knife along here, like so. Now on these fish, I think it's called a lateral line of bones. It starts about halfway up the fish. So from here up, there are these bones that go straight up like that, but from here down, there's no bones that go straight up. So basically, when I get to the bottom half of the fish like this, I keep running my knife along the bones and I go all the way through to the other side. Actually, I'm just going to push that through. So you can see here, I've gone all the way through to the other side of the fish like that. So really the lateral bones start at about this point. And if I'm running my knife here, I'm bumping up against those bones.
You can hear them scraping, yeah.
Yeah, you can listen. I'm playing the bone piano. Like that. So I'm going to go as hard up against the bones as I can here. I'm actually then going to run my knife through here and just cut through those bones. So I'm going to put my knife in here, turn it sideways. I'm going to be a little bit careful because I know Laurie said this knife is sharp. Actually, so I've cut through that lateral line of bones, and just going to run it over that. So you can see here where I've got that. Now, Laurie, if we look here, I mean, I've left a little bit of flesh.
Not much.
Not much on those bones there. So all I'm going to do now here is I'm actually just going to cut that off like that, which gives me that fillet. Then what I would do with this fish is I'd repeat the process on the other side.
Sure.
But now, you can see that's a reasonably decent fillet off a large whiting. Now I don't have like pliers or something to grab. I normally sacrifice a little bit at the end of a fillet because I need something to hold on to when I'm going to skin it. So what I do is I get down underneath the flesh to where the skin is, and I'm going to hold my knife at maybe, about a 40-degree angle, on a bit of an angle, and then I'm going to run it along. I'm having it on that angle because I want the blade to not point up into the flesh.
Scrape the skin.
Yeah, to scrape along the skin. And the scales, because the scales are still on the skin, it's holding it on. So now I can hold on to that bit there, and I'm going to kind of just run it back and
It's a
forth.
sharp knife, so
I've got to be careful. Yeah, thanks, Laurie. It's good to have a sharp knife. I'm kind of wiggling it like that. All right, well, here's a good example there. You can see, look at that.
it's pretty clean.
That is your skin. That's the whiting fillet. And if we turn it over this way, you can look at that.
That's great.
So there's been very little waste other than this little bit on top. So what do you think of that, Jonah?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Looks okay?
yeah, simple enough.
Does it make you feel hungry? You like eating fish?
Oh, I don't know for breakfast, but you know.
Not for breakfast. Yeah, because it's in the morning. Now that I've got this fillet here, actually there's one of the rib bones. I'm just going to cut that little rib bone out. You can see here there's that bone that was part of the ribs I left there. But if I run my finger along here, I can feel the lateral bones, but they actually stop about here. So from there down, that's pure flesh.
Yep.
No bones. Jonah, do you want to, I know you're going to get a fishy finger,
Oh,
but do you want to just go, can you feel where the bones are there?
yeah.
So essentially where that lateral line of bones is, I'm going to just gently run my knife straight through, because I know that the bones finish about there. And then I'm just going to, on the other side, I'm trying to, just cut those bones out without losing much of the flesh at all. I'm just keeping close up against. You can actually feel the bones with your knife when you're doing this, like so. And I'm going to just take that little piece out so you can see, essentially I've taken this, this section. I don't know if you can see those lines, but that's the bones run like that.
Okay, so boneless fillet.
How good's that? That would taste, especially with with a panko crumb, with a little bit of flour and a panko crumb. Oh man,
Yeah,
ooh,
lovely.
oh lovely. So I've just sacrificed that little bit of flesh out of the middle that's got that row of bones in it. I'll put that on there for aesthetics. Then we're going to turn him over, and we're going to repeat the process here. I'm going to come up into the shoulder of the fish, because up the top here, obviously that's a lot of meat there. It's quite thick in the shoulder, and I want to try now. On this side, when I actually come along the backbone here, I'm not going to go from this side down. I'm going to come only because I guess it's easier. Yep. So I do find that when I've taken a fillet off and there's no meat under there, it's lying down there, it kind of doesn't, when you take the first fillet off, it's
thick and fat. Yeah, it sits tall.
It sits much taller. It's a little bit easier. So it's like when I come here to do this.
This is the mully grubber fillet side.
Yeah, it's the harder side to stay right up against the backbone. Now I'm mindful, while I'm running the tip of the knife along the top of the backbone here, I'm mindful that it is sharp, and the last thing I want to do is slip and go like that.
Yep.
When I was younger, I did my apprenticeship as a butcher, and an old butcher said to me, he said, a knife is like a snake. I thought, oh, okay. He said, if you don't watch it, it'll bite you.
Yes.
And I just always remember that when I was a butcher, because the last thing I wanted to do was hack myself up when I was cutting up meat. So anyway, I'm going to, you see, I've run, if you want to have a look here, I haven't gone all that far in. I've run along the top. I've just carefully run along the top there. And the way a fish is set up, the bones here, you've got the backbone that goes down the middle. These bones run on an angle this way.
Yep.
They don't run on an angle this way. So it actually, it helps to go in the opposite direction of the way the bones go. So I'm just going to very gently, with the tip of the knife, I'm just going to carefully do it. I mean, you can just take your time with this sort of thing. I'm just running my knife along that backbone. And then when I get to this part, I always like to go in reverse when I'm going that way, because the bones go that way. I like to sort of, is that what you would do, Laurie?
Well, actually, no, I do it entirely different, but
Yeah.
we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, we will. So then I'll take that off like that, like I've done the other fillet. Now I'm going to come up here. Once again, I'm going to just turn the knife around, and I don't care that I'm cutting through those lateral bones, because I've just got to do that anyway. So then I've got that fillet there like that. So you'll see, looking at the whiting, like so,
Yeah, right.
like that,
Everything's still intact.
you can see that. See, I haven't gutted it or anything. I don't bother gutting the fish.
All there.
I'm kind of into keeping things simple and efficient, so I don't want to gut it, scale it. I just do it as it is. And you can see there, this is a good look at the bone profile of the fish, because you can see this is the main backbone that goes there.
And the rest of the comb.
And the bones come off on an angle like this on this side, and the same thing on that side like that. They go off on an angle like that.
Yep.
So we really have wasted very little. There's a little bit of meat there on that side, which is good. So I'll put that guy over there. Then we're just going to repeat the process here with the skinning. So I'm going to sacrifice that little bit at the end. Keep it on that angle. Once again, not applying too much pressure, because if I really cut down hard, I'll cut through the skin and the scales. So I've got that there. And then the same deal here. I'll just run my finger there. And you can actually, like I said, feel the bones with the knife. So I'm just going to cut this little finger of bones. Because I could feel that. I mean, it's not a perfect fillet shape, but I'll just take that little piece out of there, that little row. And then once again, we've got our boneless flesh. So that's the... Put that guy there like that. That's the flesh off that whiting. But that'll be a lovely feed. So now what we're going to do, Laurie's going to fillet a whiting, because he might have, his method will probably be a little bit different to mine. So we're going to have Laurie take over and do that. And Jonah's taking all this in. So I'll let you move in there, Laurie.
Thanks, Rod. Okay, so the end result will be very, very similar. Just a different approach. So 4 different guys, 4 different methods. Anyway, so basically I've got your fish, your knife. That was the first cut. It's exactly the same as Rog. In up here at the top of the head, top of the shoulder, like that. Then I'll go down the backbone this way. I'll go right to the top of the crown of the back of the neck. Feeling it, sliding it down the side of the backbone all the way to the back of the tail there. Unlike Roger, I won't put a cut there. I'll just keep running that. You can feel it, you can hear the, what do you call it?
The piano.
The whiting.
The bone piano.
So we'll go through there, then we can feel where they stop. You can go right through the other side,
Okay,
like
so,
that.
Yeah.
All the way to the back of the tail, like that. And you stop there.
Ah, okay, I see what you're going to do.
Then you can go like that, and you can flip that over.
Ah, yeah.
That will hold that for you,
That's
like
right,
that. So
yes.
then I will go,
So you're going to...
not losing hardly any meat at the bottom here.
Yeah,
you go like that.
You're going to...
You run the knife flat, right through like that, and there it is.
So there you go. You look at that. You've got your...
That's still attached, and you don't have to try and bite onto it and hold it and lose any when you're doing that. Then basically you've got, okay.
You've got your rib cage there.
The rib cage is there, so I will go on top of the rib cage like that, just behind it, and pair those off. I think I've still got one there, like that, and that's gone. Then that lateral line that you talk about, which is just here, is just like that. And there it is.
That was a good swift shot, Laurie. Look at that.
There it is.
So you can put that down here with these ones. It looks great. So
that was a much smaller fish, but yet.
Yeah, this one's
similar
probably 5 centimetres shorter. That was a 42 centimetre fish. This one is
A bit smaller.
Oh, not that much. This one's he's probably that's 38 centimetres, that other whiting. So it's still a good size whiting.
Yeah, it is a good size. So then we'll just repeat the process.
Okay.
Like you, again, I will just get a few scales out of the way to make the first initial cut easy.
Yeah.
Go in on the side of that, run it up the side of the spine to the top like that. There's the bones, you can feel them. You go in under the shoulder,
Yep.
run back the other way for the other side like you do, and stop.
Dip down the bottom.
Stop there, no further, leave that. Turn it around, go back the other way, go through those bones there.
So you take the full rib cage, which is fine because you just just gently kind of
Yeah.
scoop that rib cage off.
Just clean him up a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's there.
Okay.
Then right from the very edge there, make a small cut and pare it off the skin. That way you
Look at
have,
that. You got a dingly dangly there, Laurie.
we can glue him back together and throw him in. He's got the Jenny Craig touch, this fella.
Oh man, he's a skinny fish now. Look at that. Classic.
There it is.
And then you've got
So
your other fillet there.
Then
that
you've
you're
got your
going
other
to,
fillet where you just, get the bones out of that. You can be, a bit. Get the rib cage out, which is just there, and then the lateral bones.
Can you feel anything left? Just check with your finger. It's all good.
Oh, there's one there. I can feel it.
You don't want to get
There you
those
go.
sharp little bones in there.
Gone.
Hey, Lodge.
All good.
I like to eat fish knowing there's no bones. Then I can just eat it like a steak. That's how I'd prefer to eat it usually.
There you go.
So we've completed the job of filleting these delicious whiting. We have a fantastic plate of beautiful whiting fillets here. There's probably about 1.5 kilos. So yeah, a bit of value in. And this is just one relaxing session this morning with Laurie. And then of course we've got all of our fish frames here. But what we're in the habit of doing is we actually put these in a big pot and boil them, and all the flesh comes off the frames. We then put the bones in the bin, and we actually use it for our dogs. We get some rice. Once we've got all the flesh off the bones in a pot, we put 1 kilo or 2 of rice in there and just let it absorb. And it's fantastic food for our dogs. They love the fish, very healthy for them with the rice. So we utilise everything when we're doing these fish. So yeah, very good, and we're looking forward to eating this beautiful whiting. We'll probably do that just with a lovely egg and bread crumbs and a bit of aioli. What do you reckon, Laurie?
See ya.
Hey, come back, Laurie, come back.
Yeah, no, like you said, there's about 1.5 kilos of beautiful fillet. I don't know what they're charging per fillet at the markets these days, but if you get inspired, subscribe. You know what to say.
Make sure you like and subscribe if you're enjoying the videos, and we look forward to seeing you really soon. Catch you then.